So you want to see your bait splash on forward facing sonar, or in this case active target 2. That's what we're talking about today, is how to set your forward facing sonar up so you can see your bait splash. You want to see this. You want to see your bait splash. See that right there at 60? You want to see your bait splash on your forward facing sonar. And I've seen a lot of videos, not a lot, there's 2 or 3 out there, and I had someone comment asking if I had a video about this on my site, and I do not. And I watched a couple of the videos that were out there, and so I could, you know, send them that way, but I wasn't really happy with what they did. But what we're trying to do is see our bait splash right there at 50 on forward facing sonar. And the first thing that you need to consider when you're doing this is your transducer angle. This is where you adjust the angle of your transducer, and we'll start right here, kind of out of alignment, maybe between these 2 notches, so I can give you guys a good example of what it does when you do adjust your transducer. So in the other videos I mentioned, they spoke about taking measurements, leveling your transducer with trolling motor head, things of that nature. That makes some logical sense, and it will get you close. But a more practical way to do this, and what I do whenever I change a setup or swap out transducers, like I've got the new Active Target XL transducer on there now, but whenever I get a new transducer or a new setup or something gets wonky and I need to adjust my transducer, all you got to do is find some dock poles like these right here, and they're not going to be perfectly straight, but they'll mostly be, if you can see that, they'll mostly be kind of at a 90-degree angle with the surface of the water, and they'll get you close. And if you look here on my screen, look at the top, you can see that that is not at the ideal 90-degree angle. So when you see dock posts leaning, which some of them are leaning, but in this case we're looking at several dock posts and they're all leaning. Look at that big fish on that one. But that means it's time to make an adjustment, and I'll show you with the minnow here. We'll cast, and with that transducer off, there's going to be a delay. See it right there, just now sinking right here at 40. When your transducer's off, it causes a delay in your return because you're missing part of the water column because your angle's off. So let's pull the motor back out and crank our nut loose right here. And in general, these 2 marks, this one for down, this one for forward, they're pretty close, but if not, you can go in between, or you might have to go down a notch down here. But that's the next notch down on the transducer. So let's lock that in and take another look at the dock poles. Okay, so we've got our transducer adjusted. I got my trolling motor a little too high here, but check out the dock poles. Now you can see that they're pretty much, all of them are at a 90-degree angle with the top of the screen. Let's check that one. See those? So now we know that we've got our transducer angle in the correct position. Okay, so let's check and see if we still have a delay. There's the splash, and there it is at 50 feet. That's a little bit of a delay still, so, but you can still see the flash. But still have a little tiny bit of a delay. So we're going to go in to our power button, settings, sonar, select active target installation, and as you can see here, we've got depth offset at 0. Now we're going to go ahead and put about a foot in there. Yeah, looks about like a foot. I got my transducer lifted up a little bit there, and if you raise and lower your transducer a lot, your offset is going to change. Keep that in mind. But let's go with a 1 foot offset. Hit OK, save. Let's pop that back out so we got the full screen, and let's try it again. There's the splash. There's the bait at 40. I got my cast off a little bit there because I'm sitting on my knees. But let's give it another go here. There you go. 40 feet. See that big disturbance where the splash hit the water and the bait sinking? And that is how you set your forward-facing sonar up to see the splash of your bait. You can also track top waters when you do this. You can literally, if you have your contrast up a little bit, you can, or your sensitivity, you can literally see the trail of your top water while you're working it across the surface. Hope this helps, guys. Please remember to subscribe. We're trying to get to 10,000 subscribers. Thanks for watching.